Okay, well, let me, oh,
Now
so we're good to go?
Yep, we're good to go now.
Okay, so well, let's have the, starting the screen share. Okay, divine ideas, the blueprint for creation. So before I go into my presentation, I want to just take a moment just to turn within and speak a word of blessing for all the words that come forth from me, that there is understanding and knowledge, and whatever needs to be said is said. And so for this, I give thanks. And so it is, Ashe.
Ashe.
All right, okay, so divine ideas, a blueprint for creation. This is a connecting the dots conscious community presentation. And so we're gonna go into this blueprint for creation. You know, what was, the creator? What was, what was his blueprint? What was the plan? What is the pattern by which all creation emerged from? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go on to the next slide, please. And so we're basing this particular message on the hermetic principle of mentalism. Mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. And so this is why Delicia and Ray were saying that this is a prelude for next week, because it's all about these teachings of Jehudi, which later on the Greeks called it Hermes, and they call it the hermetic principles, but really these principles and these teachings go back to ancient Egypt, Kemet. And so with one of these principles that we're talking about, the first one is called the principle of mentalism. But before we get to that, I see there's a slide that has to do with connection. The entire creation is interconnected.
Wait a minute.
We're all different.
Did I go too far? Let me see.
No, you're okay. I think okay, the next one is mental. Yeah, this is it right here. I was a little ahead of myself. So
okay.
All right. So okay, we'll get it together. We'll get it together.
Want to read it for you, or you got it?
Yeah, really. Yeah, that would be good if someone could read it for me. That'd be perfect.
Okay. We're all connected. The entire creation is interconnected. We are all different patterns of the same energy. Since each being is a universe, is a different pattern, in the universe is a different pattern, we are all unique out of the very nature of that pattern.
Ashe. So, yeah, so that's what we're talking about, divine ideas. So the divine idea is a pattern by which everything is created. And so think about a blueprint. A blueprint is a design. And so like it's when you design a house and you have a blueprint, and so this is the ideal way that you want your house to look. Now the blueprint though, it may, but certain things might vary from the blueprint, but the original design was for it to look a certain way. But things can happen to where maybe, say the constructor didn't put it together right or something, and so it doesn't line up with the blueprint, and so it may not be all that it was designed to be. In other words, it's not functioning at the level that it was really created to be functioned at. And so that's what we're talking about. And so when the universe created this world, when the creator created the world, they created it with the idea of goodness. That there's goodness. The accent is on goodness. And so therefore we call the idea and the pattern a divine idea of perfection. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. I was a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, so when we're talking about ideas, of course, we're talking about a mind. And so we're basing this particular idea on the, or this particular principle on the principle of mentalism. And that principle of mentalism is that the all is mind. The universe is mental. That is that, so it looks like we're in a four-dimensional universe. Four-dimensional just means height, breadth, width, and then they say time, space, continuum. So that's the fourth dimension is time, space, time. So the third dimension is three-dimension is the space, and then the fourth dimension is time. And so it's called the time, space, continuum. But actually everything is mental. And so it's just the way we're perceiving things, because things are not really solid. Actually, everything is really flowing out of an idea. Various ideas and the way we perceive things is what creates the experience of what we're having. And so the physical universe is a mental construct based on ideas within the mind of the creator, which are ideas of wholeness and perfection, the spiritual blueprint for creation. Creation was built on an idea of goodness, like I said before. So, everything was designed for goodness. Everything was designed for a perfect expression. So is that clear? Any questions on that?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
like to comment about this. You know, I wanted to say something about the first one, but the first slide, if I may go back.
Yes.
All is, all is connected. This right here, when I seen this and I read it, I read that this is a mindset. Because if just imagine if babies came out the womb thinking like this. If you're thinking like that, because I always thought about separation, that I am here and my dad is over there. But in the true sense of the matter, everything is connected through spirit. I'm just saying, like, if I'd have had an understanding of this at a younger age and really living this kind of way, I can see how we can create our way, through this, because all is matter. What we think of, it manifests to us. And then the first hermetic principle is mentalism. All is mind. So whatever is on the forefront of your attention of your mind, that's what you're going to bring to you. That's what you're about. It's hermetic principles are, to me, it gives you a good foundation to how to build in this reality, because you of this reality. We in this reality of the same energy as the great source, logos, creator, but we're unique in our own expression of how we express that certain pattern. It's beautiful. And I'm saying all this right now because, I'm looking at the speech tape for the first time, and then the way it's put together and the words that it's saying, it really set the tone. It sets the tone. Yeah, if anybody else likes to say something about this, please chime in. What are your thoughts about this, about the first two slides, about any of it?
Okay, so what I'll do is what I kind of want to do is go through it and then kind of take the questions, and then I want to go back and visit each thing, and then then have more discussion at that point. So that way we can kind of finish. That way we won't go way long, right? We could kind of get the ideas out there, and then the questions, and then we could have a deeper discussion about them. As we, after we've kind of gone through everything and everybody's got a complete picture. So, yeah, just go back to mentalism one more time, brother, please. Back to mentalism. As far as the mentalism, there was one more quote on there, and it says, can you go back one more slide, Ray, to mentalism?
Yeah, that's what was that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm at mentalism.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. Oh, mentalism. Okay, great. All right. So awareness, consciousness changes matter. So that's the whole point of mentalism. This whole principle is that actually your awareness can create physical change. So on the inside, your inner way. So in other words, when you change the way you look at things, what you're looking at will change. And so that's the whole point, is that we got to begin to look at things in the way we want them to be, but not just the way we want them to be, but the way they were designed to be. And the way they were designed to be was they were designed for wholeness and for perfect expression. And so we got to begin to see the world in the way that it was designed to be seen. And then we see it in the way it's designed to be seen, it will then reflect it will then reveal itself. And I'll give you an example of that. You know, they say that teachers who have a high expectation of their students actually perform better. And if they have a low expectation of their students, the students perform worse, because the students are matching the level of perception that the teacher has about them. And so that's why you can help a lot, you can help people, you can do a lot for people by paying attention to them and seeing them in their highest capacities. So that's what I wanted to say. Any questions on this principle of mentalism? Any disagreements?
No disagreements.
No disagreement.
I'm gonna say something.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. And which is the principle of vibration. Can you read that one for me, brother?
The hermetic principle of vibration.
First on the left, right, yeah, there you go, right, the hermetic, go on. Starting with the left.
Starting with the left. The hermetic principle of vibration. No, that's the right. Vibration.
Right.
Okay, vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. I have to move my thing for a minute. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. At the most fundamental level, the universe and everything which comprises it is pure vibration.
Okay.
Energy. Is that what you want me to read? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Okay. Yeah, I can't even see something that's cut out, but yeah, I'm gonna read it again. This last part I can't even get. Can't see it.
Okay. Well, I can read it. I can read it.
It says nothing rests, everything moves.
So
Go ahead.
Everything moves and everything vibrates. That's the principle right there. Nothing rests, everything moves. Oh, I see you had it over there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see, because I can't hardly see that well either. Yeah, okay, I see. So what is the left saying? It
says basically the same thing, but I can't catch the last bit of it if I take it off.
Okay, that's okay. That's fine. Then I'll just go with the part here. So I can read this part here. Okay, so based on this principle of vibration, so everything is an idea known in the mind of the creator. Everything is based on an idea. In other words, nothing started as a physical form. Everything started as an idea that then went through a process to become formed into matter, right? And so now the distinction between various forms is the vibrational patterns. So we're all vibrating at different frequencies. And so a human being would vibrate at a different frequency than, say, an animal or a plant or a mineral. So you have these different kingdoms, they say, like the mineral, the plants, the animals, and the humans. That's basically only different. We're all one, like Ray said. The only thing that differentiates us is our vibrational patterns, our vibrational frequencies. So this is what's helping us to understand that we have to look at the invisible as the cause of the visible. The visible is just an effect. The invisible is the cause. And so look beyond the visible if you really want to know the causes. And if you want to really make changes in your life, operate at the level of the invisible. Operate at first your spirit, have a spirit of love. And secondly, have your eyes, your thoughts focused on the truth or what you want rather than what you don't want, right? And so this is the principle of vibration. If our thoughts, words, and actions resonate with the vibrational frequency of what we desire, we can bring it into manifestation in our experience. And so you got to be thinking like this. What is the frequency of what it is? So you got to line up your thought, line up your word. You got to become the person that would have the thing that you want. You got to begin to vibrate with the very thing you want to experience. It's based on this concept called entrainment. Entrainment. That is that the higher idea will always lift the lower idea. So we have to keep a high, we have to keep an exalted idea, and then what'll happen is that'll raise our circumstances. Okay, and so then finally, where attention goes, energy flows. And the reason why is because you are tuning into that frequency through your focus. So your focus is very important. And because that's how we bring forth various frequencies in our vibrations. And so we always want to tune in to that right vibration and then vibrate with it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna open this up a little bit. Now that I've talked about these two principles, let's open that up a little bit for some discussion. Questions first, and then we'll have some discussion. Any questions about anything I just said?
I have a question.
Please.
Can you hear me? My question
Yes.
is, what is a good way to start speaking differently? Because the way that most of us speak is how we speak. And we'll have moments where, oh yeah, let me have a higher thought on that. Let me change that. But what do you think is a good way to just start changing the way that you speak, period? Not just on a specific thing, but just another form of language.
Okay, well, we're gonna be talking about this very specific main issues of what people are dealing with and how we can speak and think and act in alignment with the truth. But the main point is to always declare the truth. Always think the truth. You know, we have this saying, and you guys know I have an African-centered perspective about things, but we say, speak ma'at and do ma'at. So that means that not just, so you gotta speak the truth and you gotta operate in alignment with the truth. So the distinction between the truth and facts, and I'm gonna get more into that. But the main thing is just speak the truth from a higher perspective. Speak the truth, speak God's truth about the situation. You know, in the Bible, there's this story about Gideon. I don't know if people are familiar with it, but Gideon was this guy, Gideon, he was threshing corn, and, you know, the Israelites were having a lot of trouble. And so then he says, you know, and so then this angel came to him and said, the Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. And so Gideon says, he says, I want you to go out and I want you to lead the people to freedom. And he said, you can't be talking to me because I'm nothing. He said, he said, my father's household is not well thought of, and I'm least in my father's household. So the point I'm saying with this is, so God saw him as a mighty man of valor, a powerful man, but he saw himself as a nothing and a nobody. But the truth about him is that he had much power. He was a man of power. You see, and so that's how God designed all of us to be powerful, whole, perfect, and complete. But then we see ourselves at a lesser degree than we were designed to be. And so the thing that we want to speak and think and act is always in alignment with the truth about ourselves. And to know that truth is that we're divine beings. We have unlimited potential and we have goodness inside of us. Does that make sense? It's sort of the principles of Ma'at. So one good framework is the principles of Ma'at. Truth, justice, righteousness, propriety, harmony, order, balance, and reciprocity. Speak those things.
Yes.
Is that answer your question, sister?
It answers my question. I understand.
A little.
You know, I want to add, because I heard you have said, is there another way to speak or have another kind of language? You know, lately, I study sacred geometry. The sacred geometry is a language.
Yes.
It's a language. So you're asking about speaking another language. You can speak another language through sacred geometry, understanding each sacred shape has a certain resonance of that particular thing, what it resonate as. You know, like the triangle, not the triangle, but the tetrahedron. That's that sacred geometry shape resonate spirit and fire. According along with research and ancient texts, what they say they represent, and like the circle, that represents either spirit, the square is earth, grounding. That's a whole nother language right there. And it's dealing with vibrations, because the vibration vibrates into a sacred geometry form that creates matter, which we are. So that could be your new language, the language of shapes, if that can help.
Yeah, I think it can. And I think really where I was coming from is, I've had a really greater interest in the language of light. And so, it's something new that I feel like I'm entering to. Even in my prayers, I can tell that the growth and the vibration is shifting, and just the way that I'm seeing things. So as I'm listening to about the hermetic principle of vibration, without, in whatever language, whether it's sacred geometry itself, that it resonates a high frequency. But I guess the whole point for me personally is just to get out of the default of always saying it how I say it, and start thinking about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, to change the way that I speak. And I also think that since I'm reading a lot more now, my language is changing. So this is just really interesting, and it's putting it all in perspective. And I thank you. I know I'm on the right track.
Okay, we got another.
Yeah, and you're going to get more, and that's what this whole presentation is about. It's about teaching us how to speak differently, think differently, and see things differently, so that we can experience the fullness instead of limitation. So that's what it's about. So we're going to be going into that throughout the whole presentation.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. We got a question from Sakari.
Yes.
Sakari, you unmuted.
Yeah, because I can't, because I'm on my phone, so I can't see the chat. So if anybody puts any chats in, maybe you can read them for me.
I got all that. I got that. Okay, Sakari.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you hear me?
Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. Maybe if you cut your camera off.
Can
She did.
Yeah, if you lose the video, that means more information can travel.
Yeah.
You get really clear audio.
Sakari, cut your video off.
She did.
She did. Okay, try it again, sister. Are you there? Am I there?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
The connection is really challenging, and I even took myself off video. That's why I'm.
She's in Georgia. No, she dropped.
Maybe she could type in her. If she can't get it, she could type it in. If she can't.
She dropped.
She dropped. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When she comes
She
back
dropped.
in, we'll
Yeah.
try it again. All right. So let's go on to the next slide, please. Any other questions before we go to the next slide? Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about your true self. We didn't have any more questions, right? Okay. Your true self. So this is where you always want to be speaking from. This is where you always want to be looking at the world from. So Delisha found a wonderful image here. She said, you shine like a star. You know who you are. You're everything beautiful. Yes, that is your
Yes.
true self. This is who you are. You got to begin to own your true self. Own it. You know, you got to be able to learn how to really lose yourself inside of the truth about you. I see she's back. So you ready to ask your question, sister?
Sakari?
Okay, when she gets ready, you just let me know, okay? All right, so you are a divine spiritual being having a human experience. I bet you everybody on this call agrees with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what does it mean to be divine? Well, it means that you're whole, perfect, and complete. That means that you are not lacking anything. You were born, see, that's what I'm talking about, the divine idea.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you hear that? No.
Wow.
I think trouble happened.
We're
Can
really
you hear me?
your sister.
Yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
you could.
It was something good. And now,
Just
You
came
want to
in.
try now? You said she just came in?
Yeah, she came in clear and then she just come back out.
maybe
Yeah,
she
all
should
right.
call. Maybe she should call in.
Yeah, that works sometimes when you call in.
I'm
So anyway, go on
gonna
with the truth.
call
All
her and then relay the question. Go ahead, everybody.
right, I'll continue on. So your true self, all right? So, and I'm really open for questions on this because we're having a discussion here today, people. And the only way Black people is ever going to ever find our way, not just Black people, but all people. But we know that Black people were subjected to certain conditions so that we could be exploited. And one of those conditions is that we were taught that we were inferior. And so Black people, African people, we especially need to understand that we were not born in sin. And that's my point right here I want to make. And I'm open to any questions from anyone who wants to tell me, how enlighten me on this or expand on this particular idea. But I believe that when we understand that we're not born in sin, we're born in wholeness, because if you're born in sin, that means you're born with something missing. That means you got to be fixed. That means that something's wrong with you, and that you can only be fixed by something outside of you coming in and fixing you.
I have
But-
a comment. I have a comment.
Okay,
Well-
let me finish my sentence. So you could only be fixed. And so the point of the matter is that it's not about being saved or anything. It's about waking up. It's about waking up to who you are and who you always were, a divine spiritual being. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. Now please, let's hear your comment and or question.
No. It's fine. No problem. This is an open discussion. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Now, when you were speaking, what it reminded me of is a lot of humans, we deal with strongholds.
Yeah.
We were born here with those divine manners and powerful ways that we have, but it's the travel that child as you come through. Some of us are geared in a way where we didn't have to deal with a lot of disorders or dysfunctional families and stuff like that. Some of these, that's why I feel believing in God and making a choice to have a spiritual walk is so important, because If you did not know God at all, then I feel that you're lost. Or if you didn't know this route that you're taking right now, then I feel like you would be lost. But if you actually take on these things that you're talking about, because we have come here divine and with these powers inside of us, but they've been tainted and they've been pressed down, compressed by the world's opinion and views on first who we are as a community and then who we are as a human. Because when I finished dental school, I found out that my blackness meant nothing when it came to my education, to my brain. So as long as I knew the information, they wouldn't look at my skin until I went into the public to try. And when I started building,
Oh,
Uh-oh.
continue.
it became who's gonna approach. He's an Asian guy. I'm a black guy. So we started using some of our, okay, what does the world put on us versus how do we apply ourselves? Well, when they look at me come to the door, they like, oh, well, this gang member is going to bust. It's all kind of mentalities put on this. But when you change the narrative, the visuals of what's happening, then even though this person may have been a way worse human than me, which they weren't, but I'm saying that the feelings of life change. And then they started, I believe that we are subject to the opinions of other spirits by where we came from, and then we're trying to get better, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And so that's the whole process of, well, where do I tune my attention? Where do I focus my attention? Do I focus on what people say I am? Or do I focus on who I know myself to be? And who do I know myself to be? I know myself to be
Right,
whole,
because
perfect, a divine being. And if I
that's
know
who
that,
we
it doesn't
want
matter
to
what
be.
anybody
That's where we want to be, though.
That's
A
who
lot
I'm.
of us don't come from there. A lot of us don't have that strongness. Some of us are really mentally strong held from our past. Thank God I'm coming out is the reason why I can talk about this. It's so much easier. And it has nothing to do with your successes. It has everything to do with your character and how you're actually trying to receive the information. If that makes sense, or if that even helps somebody that has these ultimate strongholds inside of them that won't say, okay, I came from a place where it may have been broken, but I'm not broken up, and
Yeah,
then where am I going? Because I'm always divine.
thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking for those people, because it's not always easy when you come out of a background where, it's just been beaten into you, that you're inferior or you've been traumatized and feel broken. But what I'm taking our attention to is to the perfect pattern, the perfect idea
Right.
upon which you were created. So all of that stuff is on top of the truth about you, your perfect pattern. And so once you can connect with the perfect pattern, the perfect vibration of who you are in essence, then all of that stuff will begin to fall away. And no one can actually
Now we getting
stop
real
you
now.
from
Now we
doing it.
getting deep here.
Yeah, no one can stop you from doing that. You know why? No one can stop you because no matter what happens to you, you have freedom of attitude. Nobody can tell you what to focus on. You have the right to say, I'm going to focus on this and not on that. And nobody can get in your head and make you focus on something that you don't want to focus on. You see?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to intervene right here. Sikari, she sent this is, I believe this is what she was trying to express when she was trying to talk. She says in a comment, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, but my thoughts was unlimited. I
Yeah.
like that. When I was a child, I spoke as
Those
a
are
child,
those
but
are
my
the dreams and visions that children
let
have.
me finish speaking. Let me finish. Okay. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, but my thoughts were unlimited. That's beautiful. Until I think this is a typo. Until it wasn't it wasn't thoughts that became influenced by what outside forces. I believe that's what she was trying to say. That outside forces took that away. Because I think this is a typo. But in the beginning, she's saying that when I was a child, I spoke as a child, but my thoughts were unlimited. I was this divine being. And somewhere down the line, you get deprogrammed from that, probably in school and on TV, you never know, then you something else. You know, that I believe that's what she wanted to say. Okay, yes. Okay, here you go. Yes, it's your character. We must believe the best of ourselves, our best character. Okay, so what she's saying is exactly what we're saying. You we must embody this divinity. Because even though if someone said that you're not and you realize that you are, you will go through a cognitive dissonance of, oh, yeah, I am that.
Yeah.
You know, that amygdala gonna be like, I don't know, shit up. You know, we had another discussion about that. You know, because when you come to this knowledge of realization, you're gonna come to a wall, and it's the wall, that wall is there to let you know that get over that wall and let that past what you thought go and take on this much broader perspective, so to say. I believe, is that all right, Shikari? Put a thumbs up. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what she was trying to allude to earlier. Uh, anyone else wanna? I did want to say something about this.
Please go right.
Let me say, I want to bless this this slide. Well, this whole piece. I want to bless us all. I want to bless it by. I want to read this, and I'm gonna try to read this with a lot of divine love and energy, with divine wisdom. Here we go. You are. You shine like a star. You know who you are. You're everything beautiful. Okay, so you're everything. You're beautiful. Then it says over here, okay, that was she said. And it says over here, your true self. You are divine, spiritual being having a human experience. You are whole, perfect, and complete. Your experience is not limited because you are not your body or your body of your affairs. They are the appearance and not the truth about you. In other words, they're like luggage or coats and stuff we put on. You are eternal being. Look to the ideas of truth, which is always wholeness, and you will begin to experience more of that truth. That's how you do it. You focus on and when you meditate, why that's why I always say focus on your breathing, because the more you focus on your breathing, the more your breathing enhances. You will cause your experience to continually change toward wholeness. Nothing can take away from the wholeness of your divine nature. And that this is beautiful, you know, and it really resonated with me because it reminds me of my first experience in meditating when I went to, I like this, I don't know, the great central sun. I guess that what I'm about to say that was. Because this experience, this is my, when I was meditating, when I first started meditating, I reached a point and I had this experience. That was this remind me of. This whole, your true divine self. Because in that state, everything was downloaded to me of what we are, not just me, that we are, and we go through these undressing of these coats that we put on us and what other people put on us, you know. So it does go back to taking everything off and looking at yourself, you know, starts naked and love you whoever you are. You know, because through my life, I know I did a lot of crazy shit, and I held it against me myself. And when the beautiful healing came is when I forgave myself and I forgave everybody. That's a process. There's a process that goes through, and it really just unveil your true divine self. You know, we are all connected. We all want the same thing, and the same thing. What I guess we can say is we are out here to collect data, collect experience on this earth plane, so we can take back and show how the divine beings, how we experience our lifetime on this planet in that little small minute of time. And then we go to in eternity, we go back and talk about it. I don't know. I'm just saying that's gonna be how it goes. But you're a beautiful shining star. All of us. We are very beautiful.
Okay.
Ashe.
Yes, Ashe. So yeah, so I'm glad that, you know, that the brother raised up this point that sometimes it's difficult, and but you got to realize that it's sort of like if you had a you know, sometimes you have like a gold, you know, like you have something gold or like diamond, right? And it's diamond, its nature is there, but maybe it's all, but it's dull. It needs to be polished. It needs to have all that dirt and grime wiped off of it, because all that dirt and grime is not the truth, is not what it truly is. What it truly is a shining, brilliant star or diamond or gold, and that's the essence. And so, but what happened is that this is what it was, but then stuff got started to get piled on, like when you're talking about luggage, baggage. Stuff got piled on top of it so that it began to forget who it really was. And so this lesson here is to remind you who you really are, and to tell you how to continue to redirect your thinking and your focus so you could line your thought with the thought of God or thought of the Creator, whatever name you want to give it. The thought, see, in other words, I want to line my thoughts, my words, and my actions with the thought of the Creator. And then what'll happen is when you start doing that, now you're no longer working against yourself. You're working because the Creator only has the best in mind for you. So the Creator didn't see you as a criminal, Ray, when you had problems and you end up going to jail and getting incarcerated. You were not defined as a criminal in the eyes of the Creator. The Creator saw you as a divine expression of itself. And here I am in all my fullness and glory, expressing myself in this particular way. It was for you to wake up. It wasn't the Creator always had. It was for you to say, wait a minute, I am a divine. I ain't this, and I'm who I say I am. And then you began to have a whole different experience because you lined up your thought, because you was focused on what you did. But that's not what's important. You know what's important, Ray?
Yeah.
It's who you are. Not what you do, but who you are. And so that's the point with understanding our true selves.
Okay,
and so I'm sorry, go on.
Sakari added this. She's communicating through the text now. She's engaging with us. Thanks, Sakari.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. She said this. Yes, it's our character. We must believe the best of ourselves, our best character. Yes, gold and diamonds. That was a great example.
Yes, right. And so who you are, so let me just share this. And Ray and Delisha have heard me say this a lot of times. So you guys, pardon me for repeating myself.
Say it again. I want to hear.
But it's not what you do, but who you are. So you want to anchor your you want to anchor your consciousness in your soul, which is your dignity, and not in your ego, which is your pride. Because your pride is going to be determined based on what you did and what you achieved and all that. But your dignity is based on what the sister said, your character. What do I stand for? Who am I what is it about me that can't nobody take away from me? You could take my life, but you couldn't take that. You can't take the essence of my dignity. And each one of us have that. You see what I'm saying? Anchor your there, not with your ego and your pride. Anchor there, because there nobody can touch you there. Nobody can move you there. Nobody can defeat you there, because there is an unlimited potentials right there in your soul. Any questions, comments?
Yes, just this.
That was really great. That was really
Yes.
good. That was really good. I appreciate your openness about this. So that was good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ashe.
Hey, Brother Money. We go to the next one. Anybody else want to talk about?
Were you gonna say something, Ray?
I was just saying, I said I just wanted to say this. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I just rung the bell. I got to give you some love on that. And wait a minute.
Sakari. She said, Asheo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on your true self?
I just have one comment. And I could say this, having come from I want to say, a journey spiritually, understanding who I am and who I knew I was, but not seeing myself in a way that was defined for me.
Yeah.
I just want to just say that even if it was religion, if it was other races, if it was family, and I feel a lot of times we get stuck in those places because it really does become indoctrinated into our belief system. And at some point, and it's painful and it's frightening, it's a lot of things to walk on with the essence of what you're talking about, Reverend Amadi, even in this slide about being divine, being whole and perfect and complete, and not being born in sin, that was very powerful when you started this out, and not being afraid to think outside of what we've been given.
Right.
And then holding, and it's going to take time, but I think that's a part of the rights of really being the true divine expression of all that is in us.
Right.
And so I want to say, having come from a Christian background, and when I never really necessarily deviated from certain principles and aspects of it, but I knew that there was more, and took me years to become as free as I am today in my understanding. And not to put any race or any one person down in the understanding about who you are, but we have to also understand that these are other people's cultures and narratives that have been passed in a lot of these sacred texts, not just the Bible, but a lot of other ones that may have applied to those people at that particular time. And,
Amen to that one.
you know,
Amen.
and then half of that wasn't even necessarily true, but it was just the story of the moment. And so we have to go inside of ourselves and know the absolute truth. We know some of that stuff isn't right, but we won't say nothing because we're afraid of people. And we're going to have to stop being fearful of people going through this type of transformation. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you, Reverend Amadi, because you just took another layer and set me free of really looking at myself as whole, divine, and complete. And Ashe, and I thank you. Honestly, thank you.
Yes, thank you too. And yeah, we're all on this journey together. And the thing about it is that these mythological, well, see, African thought is symbolic thought. All right. That means that we understood the symbolism that we can't just look at things literally. Now there's a good purpose for literal understanding, but literal scriptures and things like that, that's only going to take you so far. Our ancestors understood that you got to go beyond the literal to the symbolic, to the metaphysical, to the metaphorical, to the esoteric. And then as you go deeper, you're able to access different dimensionalities of reality. You're able to access different vibrational patterns because you're not just limited to a linear understanding, but you're going more into a circular understanding. And so these myths and these stories, they're true, but they're not true. They have certain truth principles that they're trying to bring. Like, for example, the idea of being born in sin. If you looked at it from a metaphysical perspective, what that just really means is that you're born into a human condition, and now you're going to have to deal with the limits of having a body.
That's it.
It doesn't mean that you're not a spiritual being. It just means that you're a spiritual being, and now you've been born into a human experience. And so therefore and sin just means you missed the mark. And so the mark is mark of perfection. And so if you looked at it symbolically, it wouldn't be a harmful idea. You see, so you got to look at it at every layer and keep going deeper, deeper, deeper. But the bottom line is, all the scripture ever points to, it points to the truth that's inside of your soul.
That was
So anything you need, filter it through your spirit. I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying that was very tactful the way that you said that, and it actually it implemented wisdom, because we all are dealing with these experiences. We all are human. There's no one on this line that's
Right.
no more understanding than the other, but the fact that we can communicate and come to like-mindedness. So I think that's what this is being around like-minded individuals, because everyone doesn't think this way. And it's difficult to find a resting place when it comes to that, because we all have come from what you just said, these places. I like the way you explained coming into a world of pretty much sin, even though you didn't come into, you wasn't sinful coming here, but
Right.
but we were brought here into sin, and that kind of, see, some of them told you were that, but then understanding the word, seeking it for yourself, having knowledge of the word and wisdom lets you know that you were just a part of the branch that brought this here. You know, so there's a lot going on, but I do appreciate this circle though.
Check this out. I'm gonna say this. You know, I just got a thought of something. Let's just look at it like this. Look at it like this. On this planet right now, we access to a certain amount of time and space living in this avatar body. Okay. Now, when the Bible says you're born into sin, what it was translating into is just like Reverend Amadi said, is matter.
Yes.
It's matter. Because see, we're all light. Because if you want to look at everything is energy, frequencies, and light. And that light, when it's being beamed at a certain rate, it manifests into a matter, or whatever it's going to manifest into. So in that scripture, it seems though it was saying to us, like right now, for us to wake up and understand that we're divine beings from get-go, and we're here in this matter time that's making it we got a limited time to do certain things, but while we're here, we've forgotten who we were and what we are. We lost that connection. You know, some people say through the triple stage of darkness, when you go through the fallopian tube, you get whiplash of your divine knowledge and wisdom when you're born. And then, you know, as a baby, you're kind of going through trying to put that understanding together, and you're really connected to the other side as an infant child. But then when the certain part of your brain develop, people outside influences start putting these jackets and coats on you, certain things, and limiting that spiritual connection. Because we're born into sin, we're born into this avatar body coming from an eternal spirit. And that eternal spirit is always there, but we're being holographically projected inside this body as a consciousness. And our brain and our organs are the mechanisms that make that electronic energy work in his body to give us this finite time of the now present. Because this is really the forever infinite. Now, it's right now. This is where all creation is. But we kind of forgot through all these texts, but they, we got it back now. If we could just look at it like this, understand that we're all divine spiritual beings and we forgot who we are. Now we get this information. Now we're connected to everything. We focus our attention on what we want and what we want to see in life and start walking in that way. And then the universe open doors for you to make that happen, because it does happen. It does happen, but you got to hold that joy. You got to have love. You got to have all. What it is in the last couple of presentations, I was talking about Ma'at and Lord Tahuti. If you just take those two Netarus and read about them and hold true to them, you can have a beautiful life. And all the other Netarus are part of that archetype of what you are. Because you are Ma'at. You are a Sar. You are a Set. These are different, Carl Jung says different psychological manifestations of the archetype that's inside your body that's being projected from the cosmology, as in the horoscope. It's a lot of things you can tie these things into. But what I'm just saying is that we're waking up right now. The forever infinite is like right now. We need to create, get around these like minds and start getting our economics and things together and start taking care of one another, and that'll overflow. And then we can take care of more. And I'm a mute on that one. I got the right.
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is really cool. We're discussing this matter. It's like I'm big into astrology, and the Aquarian age is going to be a very, very interesting age that we're moving into. And it's interesting because so much of culture as we live it and experience is shifting so rapidly now, you know what I mean? And I'm very interested in this, what we're talking about, because I feel like economically speaking, it's like a lot of the finances and the way we relate to the material world is based on a model of scarcity. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Come on that one.
So it's like, or just globally, it's like, if you're coming from the point of view, it's like, we're going to run out. There's not enough.
Right.
We can't share.
Fear.
That's kind of, you know what I mean? So watching all these like social structures just collapse is like, wow, this is like happening. This is like really wild, man.
Yeah. Just look around.
Just look around. I just want to piggyback off of what David just said, because, and this slide, Reverend Amadi, your true self, and just based on what he's saying about economics and scarcity, so many of us are not even really being our true selves on a day-to-day basis because we're in situations where we're trying to survive. And in essence, we really want to be doing something else. And so that pulls another layer and it strips away, I feel, really becoming your ultimate divine self.
Right. Now, the point I want to say, I'm glad you said that. Look, you don't have to become your divine self. You are your divine self. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do that could make you not be your divine self. But it's just that is your thinking, is your words, and is your actions reflecting who you truly are, or is it reflecting the illusion of the experience that you're going through, which might be your economic situation, the fact that you were traumatized, all of these things. So it isn't something you could ever lose. That's the whole point. It's the originating idea. It's the spiritual prototype. It's the perfect pattern. It's the divine idea. And what you just have to do is tune into it. It never goes away. It's always there, but you got to tune into it. Because no matter what people pile on top of it, it's not touched. You know, our psyche gets touched, our emotions get touched, our body gets touched, but there's a part of us that is untouched and is always accessible. And our job, if we want to be empowered, is to continue to call it forth, to zero in on it, and to allow it expression. Is that making sense?
Mm.
Whole lot.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Whole lot.
Okay, so let's go on to the next step, which is areas of healing. So when we get into areas of healing, what I did is I broke down the general areas that people seek healing in, you know, and so these next 3 or 4 slides are going to be just general areas where people experience problems and they're looking for an answer. And so when you're experiencing a problem and you're looking for an answer, you can either focus on the condition or the appearance of things, or you could focus on the truth about it, which is the divine idea about the situation, the way the creator sees it. And so, for example, in finances, my finances, do I have a consciousness? And when we say conscious, that means what am I conscious of? What am I aware of? Where am I directing my attention to? Do I have a consciousness of prosperity and abundance? Or do I have a consciousness of lack and limitation? And that becomes your consciousness, is what your beliefs, perceptions, and feelings. That's your consciousness. So it goes beyond your conscious understanding, but it goes deep into your real, true perspective on things, you know? And so, you know, you can't have an abundance consciousness just because you say you have one. You have to actually engage in the idea and let it permeate into your spirit so that you can, because, you know, we've heard of this idea, that person has a welfare mentality. You've all heard of that, a welfare mentality. That means that they have a consciousness of dependency. You know, that they have to, you could be on welfare, but that don't mean you have a welfare mentality. Because you could be on welfare and you could be like, okay, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna get my money, I know one sister, because I used to work in the welfare office. She took the program while she was going to college. She took all the kind of trainings that she could get while she was on welfare. Soon as she was able to, and so then she outgrew welfare. She got her degree, she got her job, and she didn't look back. She was on welfare, but she didn't have a welfare mentality. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. So you wasn't put into this world to be dependent. The divine idea about your finances is abundance and prosperity. That's how the creator sees you. The creator sees you as abundant and prosperity and prosperous as it relates to your finances. But how do you see yourself? That's where the idea of limitation comes in.
That's the red. You want to get out the red, right?
That's in the red.
That's
the
red.
idea of me. So you have a choice. Am I gonna entertain the divine idea, which is the truth, the eternal truth that never changes, or am I gonna entertain the idea of limitation or fear, which is the temporary condition that I'm going through right now? And so that idea of fear sounds like this: I have a lack of funds. I don't have money. I'm not gonna never be able to get no money. Those are different beliefs that are based on limitation, like the brother said. And so what I'm saying, and so above that, the quote, it says, a perception of wholeness is the consciousness of healing. What does that mean? That means that if in the midst of whatever your condition or situation you're going through, if you can see wholeness, then you've automatically connected with the healing process. So your job, if you don't have a dime in your pocket, is to still see yourself as abundant and prosperous. In other words, you're perceiving wholeness even while you're experiencing apparent limitation. So any questions or comments on that? This as relates to finances. Anybody have any financial issues? And I'll tell you kind of how to frame it from a spiritual idea as opposed to looking at it from an idea of limitation. This is finances.
No, that was really good. I like that because in the wave of being where you want to be, you go through those trials. And it's a conscious choice not to have fear, you know. So I can just say I've been there and understand what you're saying because I feel like I'm lacking nothing
All right.
because because
And,
of
the creator doesn't see you as needing anything. The creator sees you as having everything. Why? Because you partake in the nature of the creator, and the creator knows that he's lacking nothing. So how can you be lacking anything when you're a divine being just like the creator?
absolutely.
You're just an aspect of,
Uh,
you're the creator operating as you.
Absolutely. You know, the most transferable part is after you know for yourself is getting your the people that you are around. See, that's why it's always important to just live your own lane, like stay in your lane, because um, what God has for you is for you, and He has your trials for you as well to get there. So that's what I'm learning. Um, I can't say that I'm where I want to be, but I know that I'm going in the right direction to get there. You know,
Yeah,
so
because you know
that's
what? Life is
right
a
there.
journey. That's the whole purpose of life. You know, this people call Earth, they call this the Earth School. It's nothing good or bad about whatever financial state you are. It's just that we're going through a journey of awareness and awakening. And usually the reason why we're going through these conditions is so we can grow and learn, and then we can help other people not have to go through what we went through. So a lot of times we say, well, why, Lord, why am I going through this? Why am I have to suffer like this? And usually I found it's because it's something bigger than you going on. And once you get through it, and once you wake up to the truth about yourself during these conditions, you'll always be able to help other people who are going through these situations because now you had to sort of make a sacrifice in a sense, but you're going to be a blessing to others. And really, what are we here in this world for? Like
To
Rayoff
be
always said,
used, to
we're
be
here to be a blessing.
used and to serve, to be used and
Yeah.
to serve. Wow.
Well,
Yes, and other people have served
Mm.
us. Other people have
right,
served us.
right.
Yeah.
It's a perfect circle.
It's a circle.
Yes.
Everything is
And
Right.
even right now, I see a lot of people in my work right now, just like you said, through their journey, their struggle, and their healing, they are healing so many other people right now at the same time because of that struggle. So yeah, in that concept of connection of unity through spirit, it's just really beautiful to see that happen.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
good.
don't worry about saying, well, I'm not quite there yet, or why did I go through this, or why am I going through this? Just be at peace and then meditate. Just be still and quiet and just be at peace on your journey, because you're going to get there, and getting there is not for you to have all the money in the world. Getting there is for you to fulfill your purpose. That's all we're here for. And we're going to have just enough money, just enough connections, just enough resources to fulfill our purpose. Now, I may have more money than you may have more money than me. You may have more money than me. Why? Because you need more money to fulfill your purpose. My purpose may not need all that. You see,
Whoa.
that's the
Wow.
level. It ain't about who gets the most money. It's
That's
about
good,
who.
my brother. That right there was good, my
Yes.
brother.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yes.
let me give one.
Oh, you gotta, that's another, hey, that's the high sound.
Whoa, that's high vibration
Uh,
right there.
Yes.
that right there was just pure wisdom coming from a place where you've been there before.
Yes,
You can only speak divine like that is if you had and lost and came back before. All of this is it's just a wonderful thing to hear about it from other humans when you've gone through trials yourself, you know?
Right, because what are we here for? What are we really here on? What is each person on this phone? Guess what? Everybody on this phone is going through initiation.
Say,
Initiation into something bigger and better, but you got to be stretched out of your comfort zone. But we're being initiated.
Yes.
We're being initiated.
mm,
And the only reason why I can say the things I'm saying today, because I done took a lot of hits upside my head.
I have to throw a amen in there on that one.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, haven't we all? Haven't
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
so-
restoring my memory.
we? You was trying to
I lost
forget.
my memory. I forgot.
Yeah, but it's there. It's there, you know. But that's why you are the beautiful person you are today, Delisha, because of the things you've gone through and you've triumphed over. That's the very reason. You see,
Amen.
Thank you.
we would choose not to go through this. We would rather not have to deal with a lot of things we have to deal with. But ultimately, when we move through it, it becomes insignificant because we got bigger fish to fry.
Right. Yep.
Yes, just like what you're doing, Brother Ray. Now you're out healing people, teaching meditation, transforming the world. You know, it's all because of your
Woo!
experience. You couldn't do all this if you hadn't been through all
Yes.
what you went through.
Whoa.
Hit the bell for
But
yourself.
look at you now. Does it really matter? Ray,
Thank
does it
you.
really matter? Does it matter now when you look up? Don't you have bigger fish to fry and worry about what you went through?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Come on.
Hey, hey. I think we should have a fish fry.
Oh. Yeah, we gotta have a fish fry. We got.
We gotta have a fish fries in order here. Wear your mask. But okay.
So this was all on the area of finances, but it's really for all these areas.
Yeah.
You know, I just kind of, because the principle goes through all of it, that there's a perfect idea the creator put in motion for us, and we have to cooperate with it. If we just cooperate with it and stop looking at the fearful ideas that come up because we feel limited and start focusing on the real absolute truth about our situation that will never change, that's when we can really begin to lift our circumstances. So in the area of finances, anybody have any questions in the area of finances?
Yeah, I want to lift somebody up who I feel that I know that's a divine being in the area of finances, and maybe Sister Deborah can give us some a little bit of a divine financial tip if she would like to speak, because I feel that she's worthy of understanding that she knows what she's talking about. And listen to her for a minute, and we're talking about areas of health and finance, and it's just a blessing that we got people here that's in both of these areas. Brother Sal, he's a divine health person. I went through my Bufo ceremonies with Brother Sal and combo ceremonies. We're all divine. I'll just shout out to Aurora Day. Maybe she could give us some divine financial advice.
Yeah. Now, before Aurora comes on, I want to just keep us zero in on this idea. So when you're focusing on the divine idea about your finances, guess what's going to happen? You're going to meet people like Aurora Day, who's going to avenue by which your finances come. You don't know how the finances going to come. But all of these are just avenues that the universe is going to start bringing into your atmosphere, into your, where you are, because now you tuned in onto the source idea. And the source idea is abundance and prosperity. Then you're going to meet somebody like Aurora who's going to tell you ways that you can do it. So I just wanted to kind of do that like as a preliminary.
I say.
Because we're all instruments. We're all instruments. So did you want to weigh in with anything, Aurora, in this area, since this is your area of expertise?
Thank you, brothers.
I gotta give you some. Miss Day.
I'm just loving this topic tonight. And Brother Amadi, you are doing an excellent job. And what I would love to lend to this as it relates to the area of finances and health, we do know that your health is your wealth. And,
Yes.
you know, when we are very, very healthy, and I'm going to say this because I've had this experience, and maybe many of you here on the line have had it as well. You ever started eating clean, like you just cleaned your diet, right? And your physical body became so light that even during your waking hours, but especially during your sleeping hours, all kinds of financial ideas began to come to you, right? Like every way that you could either restore yourself financially, enhance yourself financially, began to spring up like out of your womb, so to speak, for women, that is, okay? But it just begins to come up, and then you've got so much energy stirring that you have no choice but to now move forward to take action on the ideas that the Spirit gave to you because you became light enough to receive it. It's real like that. It's real like that. So when we say that you got a lack of funds or you got a lack mentality, okay, you are disconnected from your source.
Oh, wow.
There's a disconnection there.
Say,
Yes.
thank you for that.
Right.
There.
Your thoughts, right. And so I like the way you said that because you see I got finances and health linked together, you see. So, you just confirmed for me. And so just as similarly, sister, like, so finances and health are linked. And so the same way with health, right? You said eat right, right? So you can't just declare perfect health for yourself and then you're eating and doing things that's not healthy because because you really don't, you're not really calling it forth from the universe, because subconsciously you must not want to be healthy because you won't do the things that will bring you. And so the same way with finance, I want to interject this particular idea, then I'm gonna go back to you, Aurora. Financially, it's the same thing. You cannot be reckless with your finances, refusing to budget your money, refusing to be wise with your spending, and think and expect to be blessed abundantly and financially. And I'm going to give you a very good metaphor. It would be like you trying to put money into your pocket and you got a hole in your pocket.
Correct.
And so all the money you're putting in is falling out the hole. So how you ever going to fill up your pocket when you got a hole in there? And so that's saying the same way with the finances and the health. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I love that because we know that it takes energy to create money, because money is my own natural energy yield. Okay.
Yes.
If I don't have enough energy, I can't store up enough, I can't create enough money. I can't do it.
Yeah. So it's linked.
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank you, Brother Ray. Thank you, Brother Ray. I want to, yeah.
Thank you. And so, we have this saying, we say you have to speak ma'at and do ma'at. And so I'm so glad that the sister brought this in. So if you're, so thinking it will get you so far. This is the illusion of Western metaphysics. They tell you that you can just think it your way through, and that's all you got to do. But you see, after you think a certain thing for a certain time, then there becomes a movement inside of you that's saying you got to act. And if you don't act on it, then you will lose the vision that's on the inside of you. So in other words, you have to speak it, and then you got to start moving your hands and feet, but that's all part of that idea unfolding. See, the idea is evolving. It evolves into an idea, and then you got to speak it out into the world, and then you got to act on it. And then that idea now has now once you acted on it, now you have planted a seed into the consciousness of the universe, what's called impersonal law. It don't care who you are, don't care who I am. It's like the soil. You plant a seed in that soil. It don't care if it don't say, well, I don't like Amadi, so I ain't gonna bring forth no fruit. The soil doesn't say that. In the same way, it don't care who puts it in there. If you fulfill the conditions, plant that seed in good soil, you're gonna get some fruit. You're gonna get you're gonna get a plant. It's gonna come forth. And so that's the same way this principle works. If you plant these ideas into what they call the subjective, subconscious, universal mind, if you plant these ideas in there, they will bring forth fruit. So this is telling you, so there's another principle called cause and effect, that you cannot change things at the level of the effect. You have to change them at the level of cause. So in other words, yeah, so you have to, and so the point being is that if you're constantly entertaining ideas of limitation, constantly sabotaging yourself, then you're not gonna understand. What you're doing is you're perpetuating your circumstances. You know, you have to change, you have to stop perpetuating it so that something new can come forth. So you got to stop doing what's not right, what's not working, and start doing what is working.
Ashe.
All right, so health. So any more questions or feedback on finance? Then we're gonna go to health. So think abundance, think prosperity. When you feel yourself thinking lack of funds, or I'm broke because so-and-so won't pay me the money he owed me. If he just paid me my money, then I wouldn't be, I would have some money. Then you're operating at the level of the effect. Because a lot of times you won't get from who you gave to. A lot of times the universe will send it to you from another direction. So you can't be limited to, it's got to come from this direction. You got to say, I'm open to it, however it comes.
Yeah, however it comes.
Yeah, it may come in the form of an idea. You might meet somebody like Aurora who teach you how to hook you up, where you can now set yourself up and make a lot of money, right? It may come in different kind of ways, but the idea is that you had embraced the truth about yourself, and you had released the ideas of limitation and fear. And once you do that, everything else starts coming into place for you.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like entertaining the possibility for things to change, you know?
Yes, you're open. You're not closed, you're open. Right. Yeah. And so the same thing with health. Health. So what is the perfect idea for health? The divine idea for health is wholeness and perfect health. You're supposed to be healthy. You're supposed to be. That's what you were designed to be, healthy. And so if you're not experiencing health, that's your body giving you feedback to tell you that you need to make some adjustments. Maybe in your diet, in your thoughts, maybe you're getting caught up in too much stress. You need to meditate so that you can be still and get some guidance about your health. And so you just focus on, I'm supposed to be healthy. I'm claiming and accepting health, wholeness for my body. Now, the idea of limitation that's not going to help you. It's to keep ruminating on the idea, well, I got something that can't be cured, or there's no answer to my health problem. You know, that's the idea of limitation. Oh, you know, I'm never going to be healthy. Well, then now you're entertaining an idea of limitation. But whereas the whole key is the divine idea, the idea of truth. So any questions or comments about health? We already talked a little bit about it already.
That's all I had to say is.
Well, I used to, 2010, I was 300 pounds. I know the importance of being healthy because 2010, I had a heart attack. In 2011, I had a stroke because I was not focused. I had all these amazing, great ideas and opportunities, but I was lacking on physical, personal love. So when I started loving myself more and realizing, it took a circumstance, it took a situation where I had no control over my body. to make me wake up and say, I have to live and I have to love myself more. So I got away from the fast foods. Within a year, I started riding bicycles around South LA. I lost 100 pounds in almost 6 months after my heart attack, after I was able to ride again. So it's very important. And right after that, 2012 is when I opened up my nonprofit. And at that time, I was physically strong, still holding, but my mental was stronger. So I saw my body change. I was feeling my body change, but all those other things came into play when I actually got out and started working. So I'm just saying that manifestation of physical strength towards your finances is absolutely true, because the better you feel about yourself, the more you can actually deal with circumstances out there, and you feel like you're going to be able to do it, you know.
Yes, and you made but your healing started when you decided that you embraced the divine idea about yourself. You chose health, and then you started riding a bicycle. You started eating different but it started with an idea. You said in your heart,
It actually started with a circumstance. The ideal of being healthy was I never wanted to work out. It started with a situation that I was dealing
But
with.
what I'm saying brother, what I'm saying is that the circumstances made you reflect and think again. It made you think again. And then you chose a different idea about yourself because you said, I don't like the way this is going. See what I'm saying? And then you went on a whole new path. But it all started with a perfect idea. You chose health.
The perception of wholeness is the consciousness of healing.
Yeah.
I feel I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying some things are put on you by not your choice. And I never really chose health. I believe the lifestyle, what I'm saying is I had to make a change, or I wouldn't have never chose to work out or ride a bike. I started, but I think my circumstance, because it chose me, and then my choice was, okay, live better, cook better, grow all your food, because I'm a gardener now. I'm expert in composting now. It was out of my circumstances that I changed.
I understand.
Yeah, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to attribute that to. Like I said, the universe is based on an idea of goodness. And so the universe always saw you as healthy. And so the universe set up circumstances to help unfold this idea about yourself but the bottom line is you are put here to be healthy. And so that is true. Sometimes things happen. I have this saying, sometimes we don't even know what we want, and God has for us more than we even want for ourselves. And so that's the situation for you.
Absolutely. Right there. That right there.
God wanted something
absolutely, that part right there,
beyond what you even wanted. Ashe. Thank you, brother.
But beyond what I know about myself.
Yes.
Because when you come from a place of not understanding, then once you find out who you actually are, then you're ready to live in divine order now. You're not really going to be out of order. That's why now everything around me that's out of order feels like it should not be there.
All right. Okay. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to order too on this chart here. So any more questions on health? Because we're going to move to relationships. Any other questions on health? Questions?
No questions. I just have a closing comment.
All right.
And that closing comment is the divine idea for health should be to eat foods that are divine from the earth and not processed from a machine. I just wanted to throw that in.
So that's what you call the natural way of doing things, which is always the best way because it's the way that the creator made it. So why wouldn't you do it the natural way? The natural way is always the best way. So that's all part of the idea too. You know, that nature created a pattern for us, and we could just read it by looking at how nature operates, that we try to be like nature and go with natural. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I just had to throw that in.
I'm glad you did.
Pick an apple.
Good, the way ideas are really converging, and this is really great. I love this. So can we go on to the next slide,
Yeah.
please? Okay, different areas of healing. The same concept, a perception of wholeness is the consciousness of healing. So now we're talking about the area of relationships. I tried to kind of lump certain related areas together. So now the relationships. So what's the perfect idea regarding relationships? Sometimes, now there's usually two kinds of issues as it relates to relationships. Either I don't have the right person or the right mate that I'm looking for, or my friend, or maybe the relationship I have is in conflict. So as it relates to relationships, the idea that the creator, he put us on this world so we could be in harmony with each other, so that we could be at peace with one another. And so the divine idea, the perfect truth about the truth about relationships is harmony, peace, and the perfect mate or outcome as it relates to the situation that we're dealing with. That's the perfect idea. That means that there is a perfect person out there for you if you don't have a relationship. You focus on that. That's what the creator wants me to connect with my right and perfect mate. Or if you have a relationship, and not just even a romantic relationship, but a friendship or a family relationship. The perfect idea for this relationship is harmony and peace. There is a way toward peace in any situation. But many of us entertain the idea of limitation or fear, that is an unavoidable conflict in relationship. Whenever me and her get together, it's gonna be an argument. It ain't no way we're gonna be able to get along, because it just ain't no way we can't get along. What they call it, irreconcilable differences.
Whoa.
You know? And or the idea of limitation.
Let's get Amadi. Oh, we lost him. Reverend Amadi? Baby, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Oh, wow. Okay. Something is going on.
Because I can't live because this person is not here. And that person would have never wanted you to go through all that. That person wants you to be happy. They moved on, but the truth about them is that the life that they had continues to live, and that we can be comforted even when we're in grief. So I just wanted to go through the full spectrum of this, and now I can open it up for any questions or comments.
Wow. Okay.
I just have a comment.
Go ahead, babe.
Okay, the comment that I just had in regards to about, like, particularly about, I just say even not finding a mate or a friend or losing a loved one and not being able to move on. I just want to say that if you're not careful, this negativity, it's like it becomes a part of your personality, and it's hard to come up from that. And I've seen it in so many people. And I literally was watching a documentary the other day, and this man's wife passed away. He went down so low that he had gone crazy, and nobody in the community could help him. He was just laying out on the on the ground. And I think that happens to so many of us, and including myself. I've been in the dumps for a long time. So Reverend, I just want to thank you that when I have a moment of these feelings, whether it's a transition or a loss or feeling like I'm lacking something in the area of relationship, that I'll have a different perspective just based on what you said. And it's excellent, and it's great medicine. I just want to say thank you, because I don't want to go back into that space, and I want to be able to help people who may be stuck there come out. So just thank you for this. That's all I have to say.
So any other questions, comments in the area of relationships or death transition?
Um,
I have one. You know, it's also difficult going through when you come out of a marriage, and not so much that both parties were wrong for each other. It's just kind of like the timing of life. It's like when
you lost. I know. I lost you. Can y'all hear me? Is this the? Here you go again. Hello? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me, babe?
like I'm a husband, so I feel like I'm not going to be single forever, but I'm still carrying myself like I'm married in a sense, you know. I'm well, that's not true either. I don't have to tell no stories to myself. I be with the open eye, but it's not the same because of my experiences. If that can help anybody, you know, it's nothing wrong with I love where I'm at right now, but I'm hoping that if someone is going through something or want to go through something, they don't feel like life is over for them anymore, and like love can't come back in, you know, because it
Right.
can.
So what you would do on this case, brother, is you would distinguish between the truth and the facts. And so the fact of the matter is that I'm feeling very bad and very empty because I lost this relationship. But the truth of the matter is that I am still whole and complete. I'll be okay, and life will continue, and whatever life has for me will come my way. And so you operating with that, you're staying focused on the truth, and even more so, guess what? The joy that we had in that relationship, the beautiful things about that relationship, I still have those precious memories, even though it ended through, maybe not through death, but through divorce. I still know we had some wonderful times together, and I can reflect on that and just appreciate that as I go forth to my next.
Yeah, you
Question.
know, to
Can
be
y'all
honest,
wait a
sometimes
minute? Can y'all hear
some
me?
people are better off
Yeah,
friends than they are in relationships.
even
They're better
that.
off friends
Do y'all
than
still
they
get a
are in
presentation?
relationships. You know?
Because I got kicked
Huh?
off. I got
You're
kicked off.
you're in.
Okay, but do y'all, is the presentation still up?
No, it's not on anymore,
Oh,
right?
okay,
I
yeah,
noticed that it disappeared.
okay, yeah, it kicked me off twice.
But that's okay. We were still talking about it,
All
so
right, all right.
okay, we haven't got to the next one yet.
But you know, yeah, that is back up now. You know,
Great, great.
I didn't hear none of y'all.
Well, we just
but
talked
you
about
know,
Keep
death.
going.
the healing space to that, you have to go through. You
Yeah,
cannot share or go around it as much as it feels. I'm just here for someone else's experience now when it comes to relationships, you know, but I don't mind being a vessel, you know, because we all have dealt with things before, you know. So I'm just saying, when it comes to relationships, um, learning how to be friends in a community
yes, that's
is
a good thing.
it's way more important than relationships to me, because we don't even know how to get along as a community, but we're walking around married and all these things, but we don't know how to love on our brother and our neighbor.
Mm.
What we're learning today, to focus on the truth so that we can line up with the divine will and not operate against nature, because we're here to be in harmony with one another. And one relationship, and sometimes people forget about two relationships: the relationship they have with themselves, the relationship they have with their body, and the relationship they have with the Creator, Those are relationships too that we must maintain.
Mm.
Healthy
Ashe.
relationship. Yes.
Ashe. Especially the relationships with oneself. And sometimes the
Yeah.
stories we tell ourselves are so outdated, you know, it's like, wow, does that even apply anymore?
I love
Wow.
it.
Thank you for
I love
saying
it.
that. Thank you, brother. Thank you. That needed to be said.
See,
Guilty.
What are stories we tell each other? Yeah. We gotta be real careful
It
about
took
thinking.
David to say that one though.
Yeah.
Wow.
It took David. That's real though.
you know,
So anyone else
yeah,
in this area?
I didn't hear nobody was saying because I kept getting kicked off. But
Mhm.
okay, areas. Okay,
We're in relationships.
oh yeah, I was
We,
wondering.
have to, we hadn't gotten to the next one yet. We're still in relationships, right? There we go.
One more.
Where's
One more.
relationships at? Oh,
Right
here
there.
we
There
go.
you go.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, I want to comment on this, but I got kicked out because I experienced all of these. And we all do. We all do. But I want to go. I'm gonna go in. I want to go in on relationships first. I'm gonna start with relationship with Alicia. That's a major relationship. That relationship didn't happen, and it wasn't gonna happen. So I made peace and I love myself. And then that energy of me being at peace and me loving myself and knowing how to respect myself, it brought in a person who was doing the same to them. And
Mhm.
and we met, on a whim of that. Because I was ready. I finished off some things and she was ready. She finished off some things and it was time to step into this divine reality. We met and we stepped into it and the rest is history. But in the transition of the death part of it, uh, I I remember back in the days when I was young, ISIS. Okay, before I turned 15, I remember I used to say, "Am I going to die before I get 15?" I thought about it. Then I lived on, and then I got a little bit older. Am I going to die before I get 18? And I lived on, and lived on. I kept living, I kept having these thoughts, and then I kept living on. And then it came to the realization through prison and through me going into my spiritual work. Uh, I had a connection with my deceased mother. She passed, and she passed, and she came see me. I guess I don't know if it happened simultaneously. I don't know or not. But all I know is that one day in prison, I got into my meditation position. Bam! She came to me, and it was her. My eyes closed, but the essence and everything was her. And she told me that everything is good. Be well. Take care of your family. I'm gone. Some of that sort is not words, but emotions and feelings. I felt that everything is good. And then I came out of it and I was like, what? What was that? Then I felt that as she had transitioned. And at the time I was in Lancaster and I couldn't talk to nobody. And then I went on to my next prison and I called my sister and that's when she told me that mom had died on this certain day, and kind of find out it was the day that I was meditating. I don't know about the time, and that this whole what I'm saying this of is that when you reach these certain peaks in your life, it's just like Brother Shantae said. He's here to help people go through transitions of marriage, but I say different. Not just for that. It's a whole lot more. So don't limit yourself. You're here for a whole lot more than that. You got a lot to offer. We all do. You know, but when we go through these different scenarios in our life and we collect that wisdom, that data from that, and we can share with someone else, it makes it easier for them to go through it. And, you know, for as in the limitation aspect of this, I was in my limitation aspect when I was thinking, am I going to die before 15? Am I going to die before 18? That was the limitation. For the limitation in the relationships, I always was, my relationship with me. I was the loner. I went out. Well, a lot of my time I was homeless and doing crack and things, so I was out of my mind, and I needed to go that way to figure something else out. So there was relationships in there, but as I can look back on it now, I can see that the relationship that I was in with different women or people in my family, it evolved. It evolved because let me see. I'm ready for this relationship that I have now because I acquired the information, the energy, the know-how to be in a relationship as and such. But you know, I got to keep maintaining that. That's the everyday thing that I got to say. No, my relationship is whole, it's complete. I am whole, I am complete. You know, but I just wanted to touch base on the relationship aspect and the death aspect because I experienced them both. And poison a relationship. I cornerstone when the day that me and Delisha met. I said the day we met. And for that transition thing, what brought me understanding of that is when I was in prison doing that meditation with my mom, and my mom came to me. Because in both scenarios, it was the comfort of self-awareness, you know, understanding what and who you are in this, and through all this, you know, we're spirit, we're energy, and we're everything, and we just kind of forgot who we are. So that's about it. I wanted to add on a relationship and death transition.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ray.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, we're going to move on to the next one unless someone else has a question. All right. And then when I finish all the slides, then of course we can still have a little more conversation if people want to add more information. So the next area is emotional well-being, which has to do, and so the perfect idea for that, our emotions, the dominant idea really is peace. We should be at peace of mind, at peace, no matter what's going on, or moving toward peace. You know, we're not always, so we don't have to beat ourselves up because sometimes we do have these ideas of limitation. You know, like sometimes we are fearful. Sometimes we are angry. Sometimes we do feel ashamed. And that's okay, you know, if we're present with those emotions, but we got to realize that our natural state is to be at peace. So you want to be able to move from pain. You want to be able to move from the fear to the peace. And so because we were created in this world to be at peace, not to be in bondage to these limiting emotions. And so when you're going through a sense where you don't feel at peace or you don't feel things are going right, then the idea that you could entertain is that I'm in bondage. I'll never be able to get over this grief. I'll never, you know, you might have been humiliated and you feel like I'm never gonna ever get over this. Or I'm so ashamed that I'll never live this down. You heard this, he's never gonna live this down, right? So you gotta realize that, yes, I will live this down. Mistakes are part of life. Hey, all right, I don't feel this good right now, but I'll feel better. And, you know, focus your attention back on being at peace. And then as far as intellectual well-being, that's like, what's your thought processes? How's your thought going? Like, because sometimes we feel confused or we feel like we don't have an answer or we feel, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But the perfect idea regarding your intellectual well-being is that the clarity and guidance, that's what you were designed to be clear and to be guided, because you're access to all knowledge and all wisdom. So if you just become still, an idea is going to come up. If you just become still, you know, something's going to tell you what to do. And then you tune into your stomach. And then you start feeling, wow, you know what? This is what feels like I should do. And then you trust that and you follow that. And then you'll be guided. So, but the idea of limitation is you say to yourself, well, I'll never be able to understand this, or I'm gonna stay confused, or I'm confused. And that becomes who I am. I'm confused. That's a confused person. No, you never claim that. Never claim that you're confused. No, I'm experiencing confusion, but there's that within me that knows. Or if I don't know, maybe Ray knows and he'll tell me. You know, so
Somebody would know.
Somebody.
Somebody know.
Connect the dots, right?
Yeah,
Connecting
right.
the dots, right? If I don't get all the answers, hey, I'm in a community, they got a lot of answers for me. So I ain't got to trip about the fact that I don't have this particular answer. You know, we'll work this out together. So that's
Right.
so the idea being that comfort and peace of mind is the perfect idea for emotions, and clarity and guidance is the perfect idea for intellectual well-being. So any questions? Any of you that's been so quiet haven't said anything? You know, feel free to weigh in.
I'm gonna point this out, Amadi. Over there for emotional well-being, we got a graph over here. Emotional well-being consists of optimism, positive relationships, clear value, self-regulation. You know,
Realization.
yeah, self-realization. Yeah, happiness and joy. All of these consist of well-being. So it
Yeah.
just gives you a little bit focus on what it is.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so small on my phone I couldn't see it because I'm using the phone. But yes, those are real good points. I'm so glad you found that, Delisha, for us, because these are good things that help you to make it easier for you to be at peace because you have these things going on for you.
Conceptualize it.
Yeah. What would it feel like to be happy? What would it feel like to have self-esteem? You know, if you don't, even if you're not experiencing, you could always imagine. That's where you can use your imagination.
Yeah.
You know, to help you to, you know, what would it feel like to be clear? You know what? I'm going to say something right now. I always used to feel like, I'm going to tell you the truth, for most of my life, I felt confused about a lot of things, or just that I didn't have a clear understanding. So I asked the universe to give me clarity. And, you know, and I must say that a lot of the things I was confused about, I'm very clear about now. And so the Bible says, if a man lacketh wisdom, let him ask. And God who freely gives will give it to you. So a lot of times when these things we don't have, it's because we haven't asked. And so if in some area you feel that you need, ask the divine to give it to you, you know, and then say this, and this is really how I changed my life. I said this to God. I said, I don't know what you can do with me, how you could salvage me, this wreck of a person. But if you'll take me, this is what I told God. I said, if you'll take me, I'll go. I said, I'm willing if you'll take me. And as soon as I did that, my life started changing. It really started changing because I said, I'm willing to go. So I just want to tell you guys the power of being just willing. Just saying, I'm willing. I'll go if you'll take me, because the universe is already set up for goodness, remember? And so God wants you to have a good experience, and God wants to take you, but the problem is, guess what? We be fighting against our own best interest. We sabotaging ourselves. We don't want to cooperate. God want to bless you, but you don't want to cooperate. Start cooperating, and you'll find that half the job is done. Stop shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, because then you can't move, right?
Right.
Then you can't move.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
That was good.
That is excellent.
All right. I hope, maybe I'm trying to make, it might seem like I'm making this stuff simple, but
Well,
let me tell you something.
good.
It is,
No, you not. No,
well,
you're
it's
not.
simple, but not easy. This is the point
It's thought provoking. It's thought provoking. You're making it thought provoking.
well, thank you. But a lot of this stuff is pretty simple, but it's not easy.
Not easy.
It's hard to gain control of your mind.
Very.
It's hard. It ain't no, it's a job. It's a job for a lifetime.
Mm.
We gotta get some of
What?
that.
It don't happen overnight.
Or should I say a lifetime duty for yourself?
Yeah, you're working on it. I mean, and then you're gonna get better and better.
Right.
You're gonna continue to evolve, and then you're gonna keep getting better and better. So you got to keep working at it, but that's going back really to the same principles, of wholeness. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. In this particular area, I have all the answers. I'm enough. The world wants to tell you that you're not enough. You got to tell yourself, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
Yeah.
We are enough.
We are enough.
We are enough. That too. All right, well, let's go on to the next slide, which would be as it relates to, these are the last two, which is as it relates to, I try to pick basic areas that we have issues and challenges in, that we need to learn how to pray about, and we need to learn how to focus our attention correctly when we're in these particular areas. So next area is when we're facing an upcoming event. So the fearful thing is, it's not gonna work, and so, okay, so this morning, my internet wouldn't work. And yesterday, my internet wouldn't work. I got it to work a little bit, and automatically thoughts pop up in my head. Oh, wow, I got this set up. I got my Wednesday afternoon session scheduled. I got, I'm supposed to present on Thursday, right? And I get this fear of failure. But what I have to tell myself, no, it's gonna work out. I claim a perfect outcome. Perfect right action is taking place. And sure enough, everything worked out, and we were able to get everything together. And even though I couldn't use my computer, I used my iPhone. And, so in other words, the upcoming event, you always want to continue to go to this idea that it's all going to unfold in a perfect outcome. So that's what upcoming event. That's how you think about it. Don't think about it like, oh, I'm scared it's going to mess up. I'm scared I'm going to fail. Oh, it's not going to work. Oh, no. You don't want to think that. That's an idea of limitation. That's an idea of fear. As it relates to the ongoing situation, here's that word that I talked about, brother, earlier, which is order. Know that divine order is established in whatever you do. Right now, everything is in order. Things may seem to act like they're not, they may seem chaotic, but I can go to my inner sense, to a place of peace on the inside. That's why these meditation techniques are so powerful, Ray, because it's helping us to establish order, to anchor ourselves in a place of peace. Even while everything around us is chaotic, we can still find order, right? And so that's the way it's been set up. And so the ongoing situations, we must always continue to invoke the idea of order and reject the idea that things are going badly, things ain't working out, it's chaos all around. That may be the facts, remember, but that's not the truth. Because what happens, facts change, but the truth never changes. And so we must always focus on that which never changes. And that is a perfect idea. Okay, so any comments, questions about these areas, upcoming events, projects, or ongoing situations?
Yeah, I think, when it comes to meditation, I had a situation recently where I had an ongoing situation where I lost my phone. And it was really funny observing my mind because I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, Where's my phone? I'm gonna have to buy a new phone. Oh, I do it. It's like, all this stuff.
Right.
And a part of my mind was like, relax. Just listen. You'll be fine. And it was like I hit this fork, right? It was like, and it was fine actually. I just slowed down. I was like, okay, fire up your computer, call your phone, and get your phone. And that's what it was. And that's what I did.
All
And I was
right.
completely calm. And it was now a situation like that, had I not been meditating, I would have freaked. I would have just completely freaked out.
There you
Like,
go.
oh my God, what's going on? I need to shut this phone off. And I laugh at it now. But that's
Yeah.
where the meditation, I think, really came through.
Yeah. And what happens is that you freak out and you panic, and then you do rash things that make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know,
yes.
instead of just being calm and just trusting in things, I lost my phone one time. I was at this event and I couldn't come outside, and I couldn't get out to call the hotel. I was at a hotel, and I figured maybe I dropped it while I was in the hotel, because I looked up and I didn't have it. And so I just decided to do just like you did. I just became still and quiet. I said, I'm not going to worry about it. And when I came out of the event, sure enough, I had dropped it in my car, but I hadn't been able to find it in my car because the rug is dark and my phone was black. So when I just took my time, looked at it, there it was. But I was glad that I hadn't run all day panicking about it. I just said, I'm gonna be at peace with it. Everything is in order. All is well. And so just sort of similar experience.
Indeed. And Brother Mike, I like to comment on as well.
Yes, please.
On both of them. This is something that I learned as a kid. A lot of people. My go-to cartoon back in the days was like G.I. Joe. I used to like Gojo. Because you know why? Because in the end, he always gave you some tips about certain things, and I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that always resonated with me through all my life, to right now, and it comes up right now, upcoming events and projects, my attitude is to adapt and overcome. Ongoing situation, my attitude was to adapt and overcome. I adapt to the situation, so I assess it, see what I can do to change it, and then I change it. So, at a young age, when I first heard adapt and overcome, and then I looked up the word, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, go Joe." And then I, just like the other one, G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle. There's certain things kind of resonated with me and taking me through my whole life, and they still stand solid. I just want to comment on that. Adapt and overcome. Order,
like
right action, perfect outcome. I say.
Okay. Any other comments? Anybody else want to comment or weigh in? Any questions? Anybody not have a full understanding, or maybe not in agreement with some of these, or maybe I'm oversimplifying it. I just wanted to open it up. I remember one time I was, I'll share another story while you guys are thinking. One time I used to go around the country doing workshops, like I was working with this youth ministry. And so we go around the country and we do workshops. And I was always like fearful that it wouldn't work out, right? That whatever, I always had this like, I would always be so scared that, it wouldn't work out, that things wouldn't work out like we wanted, right? That is it going to be a good program, right? I just would worry about it. And so one time I was in Oklahoma and I was worried about the program, and then somehow, I ended up on this Bible verse, and it said, that I sought the Lord and he answered me and he delivered me from all my fears. And somehow when I read that scripture, it gave me peace. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. And then turn out, and then anyway, so then I had that, so I was at peace, right? And so then what happened was that it was a wonderful program. Everything worked out perfectly. And so ever since that, and that was about maybe 15, maybe probably 20 years ago or something like that. You know, maybe not that long, but anyway, it was several years ago. And yeah, it was about 20 years ago because it was before I was ordained and before I got my ministerial license and everything. But I was still working in the youth ministries. So I had a license, but I wasn't ordained. And ever since then, I stopped worrying about my projects. I don't worry about projects no more. I just feel like it's going to work out. And so,
I love
but
it.
it was that scripture that delivered me. I said, well, you know, and that became my like scripture that I used when I first got into the ministry, that I used to say, that's my scripture, that I lean on. I sought the Lord and he answered me and he delivered me from all my fears. And so I just wanted to share that little.
That's so
My own
beautiful.
So any other comments or questions in this area of ongoing events or upcoming events?
I don't want to be the only one.
Well, I was going to say something soon. No, it's just really more of a comment. And I say that just because of the age bracket that we're in of us who are on this call. Okay. I just feel that dealing with upcoming events and projects that we're working on and ongoing situations, which we know a situation can come up at any time that has nothing to do with the ongoing project or the upcoming event, just a situation. So I understand that. And we just have to, and when the situation shows up, we have to know it's for a reason, even if it's not directly has to do with us, but it could be a family member, anything.
Right.
But I have found just in my own journey leading up into this point that a lot of times the reason why the idea of limitation and fear shows up is because many times we're really working with people who really aren't with us, but they're showing up saying that they're here for this event, this project, or what have you.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, so I feel like going forward, and I'm speaking to me, but I'm just expressing it out loud in this conversation, being really mindful who you choose to work on events and projects with, I think is a very critical thinking needs to come into play.
Yes.
And I think that's so vitally important because you already have little anxiousness or whatever you're feeling inside about what it is that you're doing. And then when you're working around a lot of people who said yes with their mouth, but their heart is not saying yes. See, that's a really big problem that creates other situations, down the road. So I'm just with maturity and growth, I'm realizing to be mindful of selecting those who labor among us. And then also having some type of discipline and order when you are involved in a project or event and you getting your part done and not leaving it on to somebody else, because then when it's show time, if you're not all together, things kind of chipper and it causes a lot of chaos and confusion. And then when you're dealing with other people, that's just like the gate. So they can say, oh, well, and it gets really nasty because their heart wasn't there in the first place. And then with you not being organized and prepared, you're creating situations as well. So I feel like we need to always look at our own part in these projects and events that we're a part of and the situation. And so I just feel not trying to go in a negative direction with it, but I do feel that it's a real big part of what causes a lot of the problems of the fear of failure and things going badly because of that. So I just wanted to just comment.
Right. No, true. That's true.
May
But
I
that has
tune
to do with
in?
guidance
Go ahead.
and being clear. That has to do with guidance, making right decisions.
Okay. I like to say this, with upcoming events and ongoing situations, when I go out and drum with the fellas, and a lot of times I'll be with other people who I admire and their skill may be more than mine. What I do? I do something very simple and it doesn't fail. It hasn't failed me yet. I led with my heart in dynamic action, with love and compassion, with dynamic action. And I just listen to the rhythm I hear, and it never failed me. Just keep walking all situations with unconditional love, with your heart open, and your heart will manifest and bring out the stuff that don't need to be there. It'll bring it to a head. You know, it's something that Delisha always say. If you walk in love, everything will be laid before your feet.
Sure will.
It does. I just want to.
Yes,
Wow.
but just remember this: when you're looking up to a project, understand that the perfect idea is that everything is unfolding for a perfect outcome. Everything is unfolding for a perfect outcome, and then whatever you're dealing with, just know that everything is in perfect order.
Perfect order.
I got it.
I got it now. That's why that's in that purpose.
No, I'm holding on to this one because this is a major component. They all are. All of these were like so dead on with the issues of life that we all deal with, continually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I would like to chime in a little bit on that. I'm actually in that situation where for last year, I've been planning and putting on an event that I've been doing for the last 8 years. And it's just, our world changed. What we expected when it came to support and what community is and what we thought it was, it changed. And it's taking a lot of courage and a lot of encouragement to continue to put on large events these days, over 1,000 or 5,000 people. And if you've never been in that position to actually count up the numbers, like actually see your cost count, it's difficult managing 300 people an event and knowing that, okay, without these active members, I guess I'm rambling in the sense because you can't really get into a mindset unless you're there of a person who's putting on events for other humans in the world at a large capacity and say that this is the position that we're supposed to be in right now, because you have to be a chameleon. You have to be able to allow other people's personal feelings to actually live out in front of you. I don't know if you get that, what I'm saying, but I put on large events, and the most difficult ones to do are the smaller ones when you're trying to build community, because you have so many individuals that want to be leaders or want their ideals to work. But when I'm telling you, when God's plan is in order, it doesn't matter. It's always going to work out for the best for the people. We're just tools in this situation. I don't know if that's kind of senseless, but we're a product of what we put on the table.
Well, yeah, no, that makes sense, brother. The thing I feel like is this: you put forth your best effort, you put your heart into it, and then you live with the results. You put forth your best effort, and then you become detached. In other words, you're not attached to results. I'm not attached to the results, but I'm going to put forth all that I can and make a good faith effort. I'm going to put my heart in here, and then I'm going to, it's going to be what it's going to be. And that's when you can be the best instrument.
That's easy to say, though.
Well, I mean,
that's easy to say.
I'm just saying that I'm telling you the principle. I'm not telling you what's easy or hard. I'm telling you the principle. And the principle is that...
No. I'm saying you're right. You're absolutely right. You're right.
Yeah. No. Okay. Because as long as because you could be at peace, brother, right? And knowing that you did all you knew to do. It's in God's hands now.
I'm actually okay. I'm actually doing really well. Everything is really working out in my personal, in this situation that I'm dealing with right now. I've learned to let go and let God, and really, that's where I'm at. So my events are taking on their own kind of like energy for themselves. I'm just a part of it
Great.
now. I'm a part of it. That's where I am with that. You know.
Well, all right. Well, sounds like you're doing what you're applying the principle because you're focused on the truth. So what I'm going to do, because we're already at after 9, let me just go all the way through the rest of the presentation. I'm just going to go straight through it, and then afterwards, that way we can kind of see, as far as with questions and comments, then we can take questions, comments there because, we started late and it's getting late. So I don't want us to hold us here too long. So I'm going to just go through this. And then afterwards, like if we have some more time, then we can take some questions. Okay. So hopefully that'll be okay. All right. So there is dealing with fear and limitation. There is nothing to be afraid of. Well, could somebody do this for me?
I can
you
read
read
it.
the part? I'm gonna read the part about dealing with fear, but if you could read the part on the right side, what Delisha put up on top of affirm, can you read that part?
Yeah.
The quote she put on top of affirm?
You want to go first?
No,
Yeah.
just read that quote right now that she says on top of affirm.
Okay. You can contemplate fear and limitations and expect the universe to create anything, but more than that. You can contemplate fear and limitations and expect the universe to create anything, but more of that.
Yes.
Okay,
There you go.
that is there. It kind of goes over your head, and then if you read it again, you catch it.
Yeah.
So I had to read it twice, and I caught it the second
Glad
time.
you read it twice.
I gotta read it again so I get it the third time.
Yeah,
All right.
that was heavy.
You can contemplate fear and limitations and expect the universe to create anything, but more of that.
That's good.
I got chills on that one. Wait a minute.
That's about it.
So now I'm gonna go into this other part. Okay, so dealing with fear and limitation. There's nothing to be afraid of. Fear and the idea of limitation do not have substance. False evidence appearing real. Remember, they are the shadow side of your realized good. In other words, it's like the light. When it comes in, the darkness leaves. The shadow doesn't really have any substance, but it's there for you to look at. Just as your shadow has no real substance, neither do your fears.
Whoa.
Continue your wholeness until you identify more with your wholeness than with limitation. Now this is, okay, now I'm going to talk about what's called the 51%, the 51% threshold. When you cross the 51% threshold of believing more in your wholeness than in your limitations, your experience will shift. Healing is on a spectrum, not an absolute. Okay, what do I mean by that? All right, so most people think, either I got faith or I don't have faith, but that's not the case. The thing is, you're trying to get to the point where your dominant idea is what you want it to be, not what you don't want it to be. So if you can just get to the point where you believe more in your wholeness than you do in your limitation, you'll start getting more, it's like called a tipping point. Then you move over the tipping point. And now that's when you're gonna start manifesting more of that into your experience. And so when I say healing is on a spectrum, not an absolute, what I mean by that is that, sometimes we think black and white, but really, like let's look at health. So we have different degrees of health. Finances, we have different degrees of finances. And correspondingly, we have different consciousness of prosperity. And so what happens is that, so don't think about it as either or, just think about is that you're continuously to move that needle. You continue to move the needle in the direction you want it to be. And so that's why it takes a long time, because sometimes to demonstrate, because 90% of our choices are subconscious. And so we're making subconscious choices. We say we want something, but subconsciously we may be resisting it. We may not feel like we're worth having it. And so we have to keep working on ourselves until we feel worthy of having it. And so basically you got to continue to, so in other words, you're continuing to move the spectrum so that you're becoming more and more of the good that you want.
Right.
So is that clear? People have any questions on that?
No, that was good, man. That was really good.
Great.
Hey.
Crystal clear.
Yeah. Because because sometimes we think of black and white either or, but in this I've been working on this for years, and in this manifestation thing, you sometimes you may not be where you want to be, but you're moving in the right direction. And then you keep moving, and then you'll get a tipping point, and then something will happen. And so you got to keep remembering that you're moving toward the 51%. I'm moving toward the 51%. The Bible had something, you might would think I was a Christian minister. I'm not a Christian minister, but I have a Christian background, and I used to teach the Bible. So a lot of these verses come up.
Well, don't trip then, just let it flow.
Okay, all right. So
thank you.
There's a scripture that says, Lord, I believe, help thou my unbelief. So what he was saying is, I believe, but I don't think I believe enough. Help me to believe more.
That's right.
So think about it like that. You move it to the 51%. So
I want to 51%.
I want to talk about a little bit more about the spectrum. So think about the spectrum as a spiral.
Yeah, I was about
The idea is that we are moving toward as an upward spiral. So we're moving toward a breakthrough to the next level. And so I said this Sunday, but I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes it feels like you're going around in circles, trying to get that demonstration. Seem like you're having the same problems over and over. Seem like, you thought, well, I thought I put that behind me, but man, here I am dealing with it again. But really what's happening is every time you face this situation, you're really a different person because you're facing it from a more informed perspective. And so ultimately you're going to transcend that situation. So because you're not going around in circles, you're really on an upward spiral and you're really ascending until you get to your breakthrough. So remember, keep this idea of breakthrough in your mind. You will have a breakthrough in all these areas if you stay focused in the right way and continue to see them from a perspective of wholeness and not limitation. And then you'll come to this point where you're going to transcend the problem and you're going to break through into the next level. And that's really what we're here to do, break through into the next level.
Yes,
so let me go into the next
slide. Yes.
So let's go to the next slide. And then I'm gonna give us an opportunity to have some more dialogue, but I want to finish the presentation since it's getting so late. Okay, bringing forth a healing. So can you read that's on the right?
Yes.
The quote.
Yes.
Jaleisha, read it. You found it. Read.
Divine, these are the pictures. It says divine ideas are not just ideas, but eternal facts, infinite and eternally present.
There you go. Right. So that's what we're doing. We're talking about what doesn't change. The divine idea about you never changes. You will always be seen in the eyes of the Creator as whole, perfect, and complete. And so focusing on the divine ideas creates conditions of abundant good in our lives. Our work is to stay focused on the eternal truth about our situation and not the temporary condition that we are experiencing. So we're going through temporary conditions. I may not have any money right now, but that doesn't mean I'm broke. I'm not broke because I have an abundance consciousness. And so this is temporary condition, but the truth about me is that I have access to infinite abundance. And that's how I identify myself. And so the challenge is to move from conscious acceptance of the good that we want to subconscious acceptance of our good, which is what I said before.
I got it.
Yeah, see, that's the challenge in life. That's the art of living, of self-mastery, is learning how to move it from the conscious to the subconscious. This will occur through consistent spiritual practice of prayers, affirmation, willingness, and meditation. And also, I should say, righteous living. You know, that's a spiritual practice, to live righteously. Did you know that? That's a spiritual practice. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
So when you do these spiritual practices, you're moving it from the conscious to the subconscious, because it becomes who you are, because you have internalized these things. And when every time you go and you do your meditations, because I meditate every morning and every night. And I mean, it took me a year to really start feeling the effects of meditation, because I had a hard time. I'm not one of the persons it's hard. I have a very active mind. And so it was hard for me to settle my mind, but I just kept doing it anyway. I kept saying, you know what? I'm giving this space to the Creator. I'm giving this 10 minutes, whatever. I'm just going to give this time to, and I don't care what the experience is. I did my part. I created the space. And then I started feeling bad. Then I started wanting to do it. Then I started like seeking the refuge. It's like a sanctuary. I gotta go home. I gotta find sanctuary.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Minister Amadi, you got to the 51%.
I am 53 now.
Yeah.
Seriously. So it's like now, if I'm around, it's a whole lot of clatter, a whole lot of people talking, it's a whole lot of confusion. I'd be like, let me get away from here and go somewhere and be quiet. You know that's true. Y'all know that, because that's what y'all do. And so,
Yeah.
but you gotta practice. What they call it, practice.
I do that.
You gotta practice it, and then you'll start, instead of it being a job, it'll be something that you long to do. And if you don't do it, you won't feel right. And so sometimes, as it relates to prayers, sometimes when I'm feeling real bad, I either have to meditate or I have to pray. And then when I pray until I can rise up in a whole different spirit. And I go down, burdened down, but I rise up, with the whole spirit, because I found an inner solution. So these spiritual practices will help you to internalize these ideas, and it will become who you are. So finally, if you have any comments or anything, just make a little note, because we're gonna come back to it. I got one more slide, and then I'll be finished. So can we go to the last slide? Ray, you there?
Peace of mind. Yes.
Yes, maintaining peace of mind. All right. So those are wonderful symbols that she puts there. Check out that sister right there. She looks so peaceful on the right. That's beautiful.
She is the universe.
She's connected with the cosmos and with the infinite cosmic spaces. That's beautiful. And so finally, this is another concept I'm going to share with you. We must make peace with uncertainty. Even though things are uncertain and you don't have all the answers, you still got to be at peace. Make peace with uncertainty and continue to stay focused on what we want, not on what we do not want. We must remain at peace while we're waiting for the manifestation to unfold. There's this thing with manifestations. They don't feel like you should have to wait for nothing. They feel like, oh, you don't have to wait, because we treat in the now. We say, it's happening now. But what we mean by that is that within the mind of the spirit, it's already happened, but now it has to manifest and evolve in time and space. And so you have to give it. So sometimes you find yourself having to wait. That's a 4-letter word that's not cursing. You have to wait, right?
Patience is a virtue.
Right, patience is a virtue. Okay, so the process, now check out this process. The process is to move back and forth between the poles of peace and enjoyment. Peace when things are not working. Things ain't working, but I'm still at peace. They're not the way I want. And then enjoyment when they are. So enjoy it when things are working like you want. Enjoy it when, those good times, those happy times, enjoy them. But then you have to go back to peace when they're no longer working the way you want. And so the only place you are in consciousness, you either moving from peace to enjoyment to peace to enjoyment. And that way you're really operating above the conflicts in life, because either you're at peace or you're enjoying yourself. And so therefore above the problems of life, just be at peace while waiting. And not so much that you won't have problems, but you'll still be at peace no matter what is happening. And so the last slide, please. Thank you for your attention. And remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So thank you for giving me your attention.
Wow.
Now we can have some comments if anyone wants to comment on anything that was said, but at least I wanted to finish the presentation. Or comments, questions, anything. I know I went through fast those last ones, but I saw it was getting kind of late. And I want to honor the time.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you can.
A little bit.
Oh, we're having trouble here, sister.
No, Sakari, we can't hear you. Sakari, we cannot hear you.
Sorry.
If you can.
You know, I've been doing some of the
You now,
same
we can
things
hear it.
that we
Okay,
talked
here
about.
now.
Go on.
Can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you now.
All right, here I go. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, so just going to and fro, as you were saying, like as I spoke up earlier, when I was a child, I felt unlimited. And nothing stopped happening until slowly things outside creeped in. And then I saw and I noticed that things weren't happening exactly like I used to perceive them when I was like, you know, just of an unlimited mind, and I didn't know I was unlimited. It just that's how things were happening, and I was like, how can this? And it kept happening sporadically throughout my life. Heard it said earlier when I had service that things encroach, you know, and it kind of changes up. But what really helped me the most was that 51. And it makes me think of 5150 when meaning someone is going absolutely nuts. So now I know that 5150 may be nuts, but it's an abundance, and nuts are good for your system. And so I totally appreciate this. And I am struggling right now with possibilities. And so I'm going to keep in mind the positive, because I've been trying to gain. And that sense have been coming back to me lately. And it's, you know, it's great that we're having this discussion. And it's not unlike any of the other discussions. You know,
Yes.
I mean, all of them are connected to our consciousness.
Yes.
And our meditation.
Yes, right.
So,
yeah, and
yeah,
you're having challenges, but just stay at peace with it. And then the universe will begin to show you answers. Well, what's the next step? You know, and
yes.
And then you get that breakthrough, because that's what I want for you, sister. A breakthrough.
Yes, I know we've been discussing whenever there's an issue in your life, what's the common denominator?
That's it. Hey, I think we got two people on queue. I think Sal is up first, and then Shantae. So Sakari, if you continue, but right after Sakari, Sal, I think you're up, and then Shantae. So
I'm done.
Thank you, Sakari, for sharing.
That was really
Thank you.
Thank you all.
I say.
Oh, so
Sam.
it's myself. I just, yes. Thank you so much for your presentation tonight. It hit on so many things for me, as well, as far as remembering who I am and connecting with spirit, and the concept with which I practice is remembering that we're all the seed of the Great Spirit in the process of cleaning the seed to be planted, and remembering our connection for manifestation from that. And so this was a beautiful, beautiful reminder of the work that I do, and to connect on that level. And also to the question of money too comes up for me a lot, and working with the flow. Because I think sometimes people that work a lot with spirit and connecting with spirit, we tend to forget that aspect of it in a way, you know, like it's hard to put a monetary like number on
Yeah,
the work
bro.
we do, you know, like, because I feel
Yeah.
like this is a gift everybody is entitled to from birth. And it's like, how do you charge for something like that? Or how do you flow with money in that way? And so that's a big concept for me on how to interpret that. And this helped me think about really thinking of money as an energetic flow more than anything else, that just has to fall in line with still meet with my integrity of coming from spirit. And to maintain that integrity and trust that the money is going to be a flow and an expression of that. And I have to operate, because my problem is I'll identify money with the illusion or the situation that we have been born into here.
Yeah.
And then I look at it as bad. You know what I mean? Or I look at it as evil, you know?
Yeah.
And
See,
so
subconsciously you're
understand that.
rejecting it. You're rejecting it subconsciously.
right, yeah. So I gotta switch that time frame. And so it made me think, you know what? I'm above the illusion. My essence is of the Great Spirit. So all of this will realign and upregulate to me in the flow of energy, and money is just happens to be an expression of that in this illusion, you know? So
Yes, that's
so
beautiful.
it was a shift for me that was really helpful. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I got to just comment one thing on this, brother, because you represent the same kind of issue. A lot of us that are spiritual workers, you know, we know that there is no price because we put our heart into what we do. So, you know, it's not about the money. And so, and then sometimes people don't value spiritual work because, I mean, they value it, but they almost kind of have to feel like that they don't want to pay for it like they'll pay for other spiritual work. I mean, other work. Like they don't mind paying a mechanic, they don't mind paying anybody, but they don't want to pay the one who actually help them to find peace where they could actually go to work. You know what I'm saying? Help them to actually manifest this good, because they kind of like don't look at it. So what we have to do, brothers, this is what I want to tell you. What we have to do, those of us who work in the spiritual arena, we have to ask to be compensated for our work, you know, at the right and appropriate, you know, like, so I'm just saying, I'm not saying you have to always charge for everything, but look to be compensated for your work. You pay for your training, you know, you have a right, and plus you need the money to advance your purpose. So look at it as like that, you know. It's like, it would be like if you needed a ride to go to the store, you know, you wouldn't feel like it was bad. You know, I got to get to the store. So it's the same with this money. It's not bad. It's just a means to help you fulfill a divine purpose. So I just want to throw that in there too, brother. Because I can relate. A lot of us are dealing with that issue.
Beautifully.
So true. So true.
Right. So I believe that the other brother wanted to share something.
No, I think I'm fine. I enjoy tonight. Of course, I can make so many statements. I just feel like this platform here was really good for me, and I appreciate the minister being open and doing his work to get here and teach us some things, you know. Because it's really hard expressing yourself to non-believers, you know, and I get it. So I appreciate all that you said, and I learned from all the platforms. I got something from every platform that you guys talked about tonight, and I appreciate that. It just made me just know what I already know about myself. I really appreciate who God has put me here for, and I'm willing to serve. I'm willing to serve for it.
Ashe. You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate it.
Hey, can I chime in before we end the whole thing?
Of course.
Yeah. You know, it's like I'm an artist, and it's kind of the same dilemma when dealing with money, because money is such an abstraction when it comes to like art. It's really abstract. Like, how are you going to put like a figure on this? It's very abstract. You know what I mean? It's like, But you're right. At a very practical level, it's like, man, you gotta eat, you gotta have clothes, you gotta just basic stuff, you know.
Right.
So it's like, but it also on another level, it's like there's a circle that wants to return to you. You know what I mean? But it's almost like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can't receive that, you know, because I have all these, you know, these other abstract ideas about what's coming toward me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know. But I feel like the universe is really just wants to take care of us on like a kind of a basic level, you know,
True.
in that sense, you know.
Yeah. So just realize that that's part of it, and getting paid. Ain't nothing wrong with getting paid.
No, it's not. There's not. And but you know what? It's funny because you know when you said I think you cover the concept of like prosperity and abundance, and I find the universe hilarious. The one thing you didn't really cover is humor. How funny the universe is. The universe is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if like I guess I don't know how to put this, like karmically speaking, if you have money that's due to you, just karmically, like it's just time for this money to come to you. It's
Hmm.
just funny the way that will manifest, you know?
Right.
I don't have any like particular examples. Like sometimes I'll just like find money on the street and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, what is this like? You know? It's just really weird. You think about it, it's like, wow, that life is really funny.
You're a magnet.
I laugh at it all the time. People ask me why I laugh so much, but that's what it is. Life is so funny that I'm just
Hilarious.
it's just so funny. I find myself laughing at it. You know, sometimes even when it's like I mess up or, you know, things like that like, you know, even when when I do something foolish or something, you know, I laugh at myself because life is just it's just so funny.
It is so
So
good.
I hear you, brother.
Wow. Right now I'm in deja vu right now.
Wow,
Yeah, I'm just focusing in on it.
that's beautiful. Well, I just wanted to say I'm a better person, Reverend Amadi. I thank you so much, you know, just for this teaching. It is, and only you could teach this. I'm telling you, the way that you broke this down, it really, I want to say, open up another level of understanding to simplify and not complicate a lot of the issues. And I'm just really grateful for this moment. And I just thank you so much.
Let's stay.
Okay,
That.
you up?
Yeah, I could third that. Thank you so much, Reverend. You know, I really appreciate, you know, just sharing, you know, just everything, all these concepts, and you know, it's like just breaking everything down, you know.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, you know, to share our knowledge. And I'm sure many of you who are on that side of the presentation are, I'll probably be on the other side listening to I'm sure the way Ray and Delisha have been doing it. So beautiful thing that we all can share each other's knowledge because we all have a wealth of knowledge and we could just share with one another, you know, from the depths of our heart. And if we do it that way, we know it's going to be something good because it's coming from our heart.
Yes.
So I look forward to learning a lot from everybody that's on this call.
Takari.
Did you call us a baby?
Yeah.
I'm here.
He said he was looking forward to learning from each of us. And I said, yes. I said, Sakari.
All right.
David. I know what soon come means.
Soon come. Sal.
No, positive.
Shantae.
Yes, we all have it. So it's
We have a
getting
lot to look forward to.
you guys I just wanted to say maybe we should let the ones that have to go release. Yeah. You know, I'm couldn't stay, but it seemed like it's 9:37 already. I'm feeling a little strange keeping everybody so long.
It's a blessing.
It's 11:30 38 here where I am. So
Mm.
you guys, I see you recording. I hope all of this, because I kept going in and out. It's not recorded. Let me do you.
Yeah, give me a week.
No worries. Yeah.
Because each time I'm gonna put one up tonight. It's not gonna be this one. It's gonna be of one of last week, so I can keep the fresh one.
Cool.
You know what I mean? I'll put the older ones up first. And then,
Cool.
yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
So
Because I missed that one too.
And then we got to make sure we like them. When he puts them up, we got to like them so he can get like some juice for us watching.
Yes, go to the YouTube page and subscribe and like it and make a comment, and that way it'll get out.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
I appreciate y'all. And in closing, I want to say this: if not tomorrow, but next Thursday, we're gonna read the Emerald Tablets, and I think we're gonna try to get it. We're gonna try to get as much done as we can within a lot of amount of time. You know, we don't want to take up too much time, but it's only like 48 pages. And if we can, if anything gonna take up time is us talking about it, breaking it down. But I'm reading it. This is my third time reading it now, and and I got highlights. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. So everyone who wanna participate next Thursday, give me your email and I can send you a copy. You know, most likely you got my number. Send it to me in text, and I can send everyone. I send everyone a copy. Reverend Amadi, did you get yours?
I already got mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sal got yours.
Mm-hmm.
And Sal, you got yours. Oh, Sal just left. Okay, Shantae, did you want one? I need your email address. And David, I think I sent you one.
Okay.
Okay. So, and in closing, hey, let's just do a simple breathing closure. All right, let's do a 3-count breathing closure. And what I mean by 3 count, we're gonna inhale 3 times, and we're gonna exhale 3 times. And on the exhale, we're gonna just release. And what we're gonna breathe in is all the wisdom that we learned tonight in this presentation. Those are the concepts. Breathe in all the wisdom that we learned tonight, and we're gonna exhale all the wisdom that doesn't serve us no more. So we're gonna breathe like that 3 times. We're gonna breathe in all the wisdom we learned tonight, and we're gonna hold it for a couple of seconds. We're gonna exhale all the wisdom that we don't need anymore. Okay, I got you, Sakari. All right. Everybody get in your position. Back straight. Put your hands on your lap straight up. Okay. And anytime when you start a breathing technique, you must always exhale out first. Now breathe in slowly and deeply. Hold it at the top of your lungs. Exhale out. Hold it. Inhale in. Hold it. Exhale out. Hold it. Inhale in. Hold it. Exhale out. Breathe normal right now. Keep your eyes closed. At this point, I want you to count your breath. When you breathe in, it's 1, and when you breathe out, it's 2. Go to 10, and when you get to 10, just say good night, and you can log off. Start counting now.
1.
Black August memorandum.
Say it again, Sakari.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace and love.
I just want to
I
say
said,
this before I go, y'all.
Love you guys.
Have a good night.
Love
good
you.
night.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.
I enjoyed you all.
Yes.